Anyway, last night I went to Starport, or it's Levels now, I guess.
Levels.
What a
That's
terrible name. Starport was so much better.
Starport
Yeah,
was
Starport was
incredible.
such a cooler name.
Is it in the same building?
Yeah, it's in the same building as New Starport was.
Okay.
So they have these stupid cut the string games, right? And I thought, oh man, I'll waste a couple tokens trying to cut the string.
Yeah.
This teddy bear looks kind of intimidating. In the case, it looked like it was 3 feet tall. But I ended up winning it.
The legend.
It's a
Wow.
6 foot tall teddy bear.
Oh
Wait,
my
what?
god.
6 foot tall?
Yeah, it's bigger than I am. It's
I was gonna say, how tall are you?
6'2". I'm 6 foot even. That thing is
What?
6'2". It's massive. But I had to carry it around the bar with me all night. It ended up sitting in the karaoke area.
How
Kinda
heavy is
slumped
it,
back
if you had to guess?
couch. It's like 15 pounds.
Okay,
20
so not
pounds.
too bad, but definitely annoying.
It's annoying. It was very annoying to carry around all night.
That's awesome.
Funniest thing that could have happened to me last night. I tried to win the Segway in the other machine, but I guess I just didn't have the sauce anymore after winning
didn't
the
have
bear.
the Segway sauce. You had the
Yeah.
Now you have a 6 foot plus teddy bear.
I have a 6 foot tall teddy bear that I have to somehow stick in my house.
God.
Oops.
It's like
I've
those.
never-
I don't know if you guys, like on Halloween or around Halloween, people are just going crazy with decorations now. And I've been seeing like these, no joke, like 15 feet tall skeletons in front of like suburban houses.
Oh, I love those.
Have you guys seen these?
I kind of
Oh,
I
yeah.
have like
They sell them at Walmart, I think.
20-foot ceilings in my, maybe not 20, at least 15-foot ceilings and like 10-foot windows. I'd love to put a spooky skeleton in my window. I think it'd be so cool.
Like, dude, like these things are too big. Why are they making these teddy bears, these skeletons, the size of houses? I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
well, I mean, part of me wants to hollow it out and wear it as a suit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's a
some
pretty
kind
good
of
idea.
Kid suit.
Yeah.
But
That's
I don't know.
also a
if
good
I-
Halloween idea.
I'll buy another 6 foot tall teddy bear and like Frankenstein it into a suit. I'll end up looking like something out of FNAF.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was picturing. Well, congrats on your 6 foot tall teddy bear that you have to keep somewhere in your house now. Have fun
Yes,
with that.
That's such
Yeah.
an inconvenience.
Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Sam Avion. Today I'm joined by Connor
Hey guys.
and Mike.
Hello.
And what do you know? It's already Game Awards 2024 season, and this year's a spicy one. Not because of the games per se, but because of the decisions made by the Game Awards on which games they're including. So maybe we should start with that. The controversial decision to nominate Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree for Game of the Year 2024.
It's not a game.
It's not a game.
It's not
It is
a game. It's a
DLC
DLC.
expansion. And I don't know. It's just it's a weird feeling, right? Because this game I feel like is only here because of the prestige of From Software and specifically Miyazaki and Jeff Keighley's tendency to bend the rules for people he, I guess, wants to find favor with.
Yeah.
I suppose what I'm saying is that if a game of similar quality as a DLC came out this year and was not published by someone like From Software or Kojima, I don't think it would be eligible. But I think because it's From Software, exceptions were made. That's how it
100%
reads to
agree.
me. Yeah.
I think the only other person who could have done it would be like a DLC for Death Stranding. Like
Last year, Phantom Liberty was.
it was not Game of the Year. It
It was on. It was for best narrative, is what it was up for.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, so maybe this isn't quite a new rule, but like, I think there has to be a line somewhere. Like maybe,
was-
yes, nominating
for
them.
Best narrative and best performance from Idris Elba.
I think that's okay, right?
Best
like,
performance absolutely is fine.
Nominating expansions, especially on the scope of something like Phantom Liberty or Shadow of the Erdtree, which to be fair are mass enough to basically be games in their own right. Yeah, sure, give them their accolades by in some of the other nomination categories, but I think Game of the Year should be
Yeah.
specific to that year,
Yeah,
it
I
is kind
think-
of weird that Elden Ring could potentially be the game of the year 2024 and 2022.
I think there's a compromise here as well, where you could just release a second award called Best Expansion of the Year.
Yeah, we're getting enough high quality expansions each year these days, in my opinion, that we could absolutely
We
have
could
a
just
best
have an
expansion
expansion of the
category.
year.
Yeah, they have something similar, right? They have like best ongoing game, but
Right.
I don't think that really captures what's happening here.
That's just
Elden
the
Ring's
live
not an
service
ongoing
games.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
just
it's-
say Best Expansion.
especially Phantom Liberty was a good shout too. That was like
Yeah.
basically a full game-sized expansion. So these games exist. So I feel like there should be a category to recognize them, but instead we've got Elden Ring in the running for Game of the Year 2024, and a lot of controversy has been generated for this. People are mad. People are justifying it.
It's
I think
also
we're
for
all in
Best
agreement.
RPG, which
Oh yeah, it's nominated in multiple categories, which
Yeah.
is
yeah,
I find
if it
kind of funny.
sweeps, I'm just gonna be mad.
Putting it as best RPG is just insulting, I think,
Yeah.
because it is not in any way different as an RPG than Elden Ring was.
Yeah, it didn't move anything
It's just more.
forward.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's tough
actually,
because
like,
I think
worse.
it's obviously we don't have any insight to how this judging happens, but the impression to me is that regardless of what these games actually are, if they fall into a specific bucket, if in general they're the best game, not specifically for that quality, they can be nominated for.
It got
if
nominated
that makes
for
sense.
Best Art Direction, which is
Well, okay, so let's just start going down this
Yeah,
list.
let's do it. Yeah. So
And let's just start at the top because we've been talking about it. So the nominees for Game of the Year 2024 for the Game Awards are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. So right off the bat, I want to point out
it's gonna be Elden Ring.
one of these games is an expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm going to get some heat for this. It's Final Fantasy VII, a remake of Final Fantasy VII, right? Like I think it does enough new things to not be considered a remake per se, but still, it's I don't know.
So I didn't play this. I don't know what the temperature in the room is for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The only thing I know about it is that in the another gaming podcast I really like, the Besties, they didn't like it. They actively were not fans of this game. They didn't like the changes made.
The consensus is that this is a fantastic game.
Okay.
Especially fans of Final Fantasy are super into this game. If you look at the Metacritic score, it's like 92 or 93. It's extraordinarily high.
Yeah.
Much higher than I thought it would be. And yeah, I think it has a real shot of winning. It's just I don't know. I think the inclusion of Elden Ring really kind of muddies things up because to me I feel like if it's on here it probably is going to win. Cuz otherwise why would you even do this?
I'd love to see something like Balatro win or Astrobot or even Metaphor. Metaphor would be a wild pickout.
Yeah, I mean we'll talk about each of these games cuz I think they come up multiple times, but just to give my high level thoughts, I'm still playing Metaphor. Mostly because I didn't really get a chance to play video games this week.
Right.
But and it's a fantastic game. I just don't think enough people would have played it for it to win. That's my take on it right now.
Well, the audience vote is not super weighted on this.
It is mostly a critic score weight,
which I think is better. I think that's more interesting.
Yeah, and even with that being the case, right? Like if I were to think what critics around the world would put at the top between this list of 6 games, right off the bat, I don't think in terms of critical reception, one of these games is not like the other, and that game is Black Myth Wukong, right? Like Black Myth Wukong, if we're just talking sheer numbers, is just significantly rated much less than these games. And don't get me wrong, it's a great game, but if we're talking Game of the Year caliber game, I think it's on here because it's very popular,
right?
Especially outside of the US.
I agree. It's probably the worst game on this list, but not by a ton, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great game. Let's just make
Yeah.
that clear.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
saying
do think
worst
it's in a
is like
tier
a
below.
charged word, but
I think it's in a tier below the rest of these games.
yeah. So
Um,
in my opinion, Elden Ring clears for me because it's on the list. Elden Ring of these games was my favorite I played this year.
Yeah, and just keep in mind we're predicting the Game Awards. We'll have our own Game of the Year later in the year.
None of these games make it into the upper echelon of my game of the year.
But yeah, so that being said, right? In my mind, I think because Elden Ring is on here, it's going to win and generate a ton of controversy. But barring that, I think realistically Final Fantasy VII or Astrobot has the highest chance.
If it was just me picking a game from this list and Shadow of the Erdtree wasn't on it, I would really, really struggle to choose between Astrobot, Balatro, and Metaphor. They're all so good
Yeah,
and so dissimilar.
Yeah, they're completely different. And just for reference, right, I've played every game of these 6 except for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So when it comes to that game, I can't offer my insights, but I've extensively played every other game on this list.
I've only played Balatro, Shadow of the Erdtree, and a few hours, a morsel, like an appetizer of Metaphor. I've only played the demo, and I haven't finished the demo.
Yeah. But, I mean, at least that gives you some grounds to talk to it.
Yeah, if it maintains that quality, the quality is incredible. It is Balatro and Astro. Yeah, I haven't played Astrobot at all, but it's one of the games that I want this year most. I'm just not going to buy a PS5 for it.
But yeah, I think the inclusion of Elden Ring really throws a wrench into things, but without Elden Ring here, I think it'd be very tough to see where critics would lean on this list.
Yeah.
Because unlike last year, there's no clear standout.
My guess...
I would argue with the inclusion of Elden Ring, there is a clear standout, but
yes.
I guess that's besides the point.
My guess would be the Final Fantasy would win because critics are like slobbering on it.
Yeah. People really like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think Astrobot has a decent chance too because it also placates the nostalgia, and that's a huge factor, especially for critics that are, I guess, our age and older.
I'm just happy to see it on here. Well, not really a new IP, but this is the first like proper full-length Astrobot game.
Yeah, and it's a Mario Galaxy tier game. It's just incredible.
Surprised that Power World and Satisfactory didn't get anywhere.
I'm surprised Satisfactory didn't have some representation.
I think Satisfactory.
Power World.
Power World is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Just because I know so many people played it. I think the issue with Satisfactory is I don't think anyone can argue against its quality. I just think it's not a mainstream enough game. Like not enough people, especially these critics.
Yeah, the critics didn't play it. It's not a Oscar bait game, you know? Like the rest of these kind of are. Astrobot's not telling Astrobot and Balatro aren't telling a crazy narrative, but they are very digestible linear experiences.
Yeah. Well, actually, to that, I'm actually quite surprised Balatro is in the running for Game of the Year because personally, it is absolutely in the running for my Game of the Year. I just didn't think that opinion would be reflected on a mainstream stage like this. So I'm really glad that people do recognize how good Balatro is.
You could have given me hours to try to guess this list, and I don't know if I would have ever said Balatro.
Yeah. No, yeah. I would have guessed Astrobot, Metaphor, and Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
But seeing like Black Myth, I never would have guessed Black Myth to be on this list. Seeing Elden Ring. Yeah, I mean, obviously Elden Ring is just what is happening.
It's sucking the air out of the room, yeah.
It is, yeah, which sucks because I think there's a lot of good discussion to be had about these games, but right now it's all just people yelling about whether Elden Ring should or should not be included for consideration.
Right, because what this is going to do to me, like let's look a 2 years down the line for Connor's Game of the Year, which is next year Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. That's going to be Game of the Year. There's no contest. But then the year after that, the Master Rank expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds is going to come out. It's probably not going to have meaningful gameplay changes. It's just going to be a bunch of new monsters. And that would be my Game of the Year again. But I don't want that. I want Monster Hunter to be Game of the Year one time.
Boring world to live in. And this is coming from someone whose favorite game is Elden Ring. I don't want Elden Ring to win because it would set a weird precedent for the future.
And let's be clear,
we're just discussing the same games every year.
Shadow of the Erdtree was immaculate. It was an amazing expansion, but it did not meaningfully change Elden Ring. It was just more of this amazing thing.
It was more.
It was exactly what it should be.
Yeah. So,
but it's gonna win. I think we can all.
You think it's gonna win?
I think we could easily. Yes, I don't think it would be on the list if they hadn't already decided it was gonna win.
I think that's a logical conclusion to jump to. I could also see it being on the list just so, quite frankly, just so Jeff Keighley can glaze Miyazaki a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that could be a reason. So it could be on the list just because it's going to win, or it could be on the list just because of Jeff Keighley's love affair with these, famous developers. So I'm going to choose to believe, right? It's the second one, even though I have no evidence of it. So I'm going to choose to believe it, and I'm going to think I'm going to pick Astrobot. I'm going to go out there and say Astrobot's going to win Game of the Year.
So, like, all things equal, would you actually pick Astrobot over Shadow of the Erdtree, though? You personally?
Oh, man. So I think we should save that discussion for our Game of the Year talk.
Well, Elden Ring's not going to be there.
That's true. So,
it doesn't obey our
you're
rules.
right. Elden Ring's not going to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So I personally think this was an extremely strong year for video games.
Yeah. I do, too.
That being said, Shadow of the Erdtree was just
It's
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah,
it
it's
might
so
just
good.
beat all of these games. So
It's
I
ridiculously
think
good.
if our Game of the Year list had Shadow of the Erdtree on it, it probably would win for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just ridiculously good. But it shouldn't be on the list.
No, it
so
shouldn't. Yeah, 'cause
we're not. It's not going to be on
fair.
our list. Yeah. Okay, so predictions for Game of the Year, and we sometimes like keep track. Sometimes we don't. I don't know if we want to do that this year, just to see whose predictions won out. But
Yeah, I don't know that. Did we like that last year? I don't know if it was really that fun. It was just a lot of paperwork for me.
I'm gonna guess Astrobot. Connor, you're gonna guess Shadow of the Erdtree. What's your
I'm gonna throw
guess, Mike?
Shadow of the Erdtree. I think
All right.
it's just gonna get glazed.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's gonna
so
sweep.
that would really. But honestly, like,
I hope it does. 'cause
controversy
I'm taking a
draws
shot
views,
for every time I hear Elden Ring.
it could be just that Jeff knows exactly what he's doing, and he's just going to make a lot of money off this decision. So.
Moving on
Best
to best
game-
game direction.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that because it's kind of clear to me that we're looking at the same list now, which wasn't established beforehand.
Are we all looking at the IGN list?
No,
I'm looking at
on-
the GameSpot list.
I'm on the Game
IGN
Awards
list.
website.
All right,
Oh my
well,
God,
we'll see how
so
this
they're
goes. So, best game direction, it's the same
It's
games.
the same list. And this is the problem with best game direction, right? I have argued before, I think, in favor of the category, but this year it's just egregious. There's no reason for this to
There
be
needs
here.
to be some distinction.
Yeah, it's just Game of the Word. It's good. I don't even think we should talk about it because I just know whoever gets Game of the Year is going to get best game direction.
And often that's the way it goes, right? Like the game that wins best game direction does win Game
Well,
of the Year. So
let me make an argument for Balatro for best game direction though, because it's a one-man affair.
yeah,
The rest of these are all. I mean, Miyazaki is a bit of an artiste. What's the word?
auteur.
Auteur. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's a bit of an auteur, but I still think there's a better argument for Balatro, which is that there is nothing in Balatro other than immaculate game design and like incredible game feel, I guess. But
I mean, that's what makes the game, right? Like, if it was just the card game, it'd be good, but the presentation layer on top of that elevates it so much.
yeah,
But do we think the commission will feel the same way?
I think they might. I think it's between Balatro and whatever won Game of the Year. It'll either, because Balatro is not winning Game of the Year, but it could win this.
I
That's my
would love a
prediction.
world where it does win. I think Balatro will get its flowers in the indie game of the year,
Yes, it's guaranteed.
and
It's
that
a
will
shoo-in.
probably be it, unfortunately. For best game direction, I'm probably gonna go out on a limb here and say it's the one game I haven't played, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, maybe.
Just because, like,
Name
I
the
always
director,
hear he's like a famous guy.
Yeah,
I
I
just
know.
don't I just don't know him. Like, I don't know Square Enix. I don't
Yeah,
play Final Fantasy really. So, but
it's also
just-
a remake.
well, okay. So is it like that's the whole
yeah,
thing?
I know. Yeah, it's
Is
not-
Rebirth?
Yeah,
It's like a weird remake sequel thing.
a requel.
So, yeah. A new Kojima term just dropped.
No, please no. That's what Death Stranding 2 is gonna be.
Okay, so my prediction for this is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. What about you guys?
Balatro.
Do you think they'll actually pick Balatro?
I think it'll
That'd
be fun
that'd be
if
sick.
they do. I think it's a fun
Yeah.
prediction. Yeah.
I'm gonna be the negative Nancy and say it's just gonna be Elden Ring again.
You're probably right.
I mean, you're probably right, honestly. Maybe I think Connor and I are kind of colored by wishful thinking.
I think definitely.
I'm gonna be the reality check and say it's just gonna be Elden Ring in every category that Elden Ring's nominated for.
So, okay, the best adaptation is the next one on my list.
Okay, can you send me a link to your list?
Yeah, let's just do that now.
Yeah, send the link to your list. My list has best narrative next.
Yeah, same.
So let's just all be looking at the same list.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Dark mode. Oh, my eyes.
So true.
It's gonna be Arcane.
So best adaptation. Yeah. Best adaptation. The nominees are Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza,
Knuckles,
Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. Okay,
any other year it'd be Fallout.
I was gonna say it has to be between Arcane and Fallout.
Arcane is too good. Fallout was good for a video game adaptation.
Have you guys seen the new season of Arcane?
No.
Yes. I haven't seen it yet either.
I've been watching it. It's so good.
Is it similar to first season? I imagine.
It's just so much better.
Yeah. Okay.
Better
that's crazy.
It'd be crazy if, Arcane is so good, they should really make a video game in that universe.
Yeah.
They should really make a real game in that universe.
Quality-wise, I would say, Arcane probably wins, but Fallout was insanely popular.
It was also really faithful.
Like, we're talking, 9-digit viewership.
Is Arcane not?
I don't think it was as popular as Fallout.
Arcane, I think, is...
Fallout became the most viewed show on Amazon Prime, ever.
Yeah, but people don't watch shows on Amazon Prime, do they? It's not... Arcane's on Netflix.
I mean, no, people watch shows on Amazon Prime. They watch The Boys, they watch the new Lord of the Rings show.
Oh, right, yeah.
But Arcane had 34 million views in its first 6 days.
But do you think critics
which is crazy.
Pick Fallout over Arcane? Season. Arcane is beautiful. It tells a story of the human condition.
Yeah, I agree with Arcane. I'm just wondering if everyone else does too. But I think I'm gonna lean towards Arcane. It's just that much better than everything else.
I could see Fallout getting the community vote.
Yeah, I can see that too. So my prediction is Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane's the most viewed show on Netflix right now.
Arcane's amazing. I want to watch it, but
I'm very excited. I'm waiting for all of season 2 to drop because I don't think it's all out yet.
But this weekend, this Saturday is the last 3. Yeah, I'm up to date. Holy Christ, it's good.
Yeah, it's
so
shockingly good. Yeah,
I didn't expect season 2 to be hit as much as season 1 did, but I've been brought to a little bit of tears during it.
I was during season 1. I'm gonna have to pick up a month of Netflix to watch it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna rewatch season 1 honestly as well because I do not remember much. But
I'm probably gonna splurge
it did have a
4K
budget of $250 million.
Yeah.
Okay, well, glad to see Arcane's back. I'm excited to watch that eventually. Best narrative: Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. What?
Can I say something?
Did that even come out this year?
Yes.
No
and
way.
It's insulting that it's in this list.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't remember anything about it.
And the final game in this list is Silent Hill 2, by the way, which weird
remakes,
edition, right?
Yeah. I don't, especially for best narrative, I don't like a remake being there because the narrative's the same as it was the first time.
It's been told already, yeah.
Yeah, this isn't a new groundbreaking
I think this is going to be
narrative.
Final Fantasy or
I think this
Metaphor.
is Final Fantasy or Metaphor, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I would pick Metaphor, almost certainly.
But I want to believe Like a Dragon will hit it.
It's not, though.
Yakuza games deserve some time in the limelight.
I think the winner will be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Let me make a case against
Metaphor has my heart.
There's so much multiverse fatigue, and I know there's multiverse shenanigans going on in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't know to what extent or what it is. There's so much multiverse fatigue. Also, multiverses are almost always poorly written. I think it's going to be Metaphor. Plus recency bias.
I just hear so much. Well, actually, I don't know. It seems like half the people love the plot and half of them hate the plot. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, multiverses are great the first time you see them.
If Metaphor wins this category, I'll be amped. But I'm going to predict Final Fantasy VII.
I'm going to predict Metaphor.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Metaphor.
If it's Senua's Saga, I'm gonna like throw up in my mouth.
I've been waiting to play Infinite Wealth until I finished Yakuza games, and I should just play Infinite Wealth.
Dude, Infinite Wealth looks like such a good,
There's like
fun
8
time.
Yakuza games I gotta play through before I can touch Infinite Wealth, and I haven't even gotten through 0
I don't
yet.
think it's that kind of game. I don't think you have to play them in order.
I'm
there
like
is a story.
I'm inching more towards just saying screw the past story and just jumping on the latest Yakuza and having fun. Like it's
There's
just
a lot of Yakuza. And then
just gotta
play
let
through the
go
old
sometimes.
games. Yeah, I want to finish 0 first before I touch Infinite Wealth, though. But a lot of characters from 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, are all in Infinite Wealth. Plus,
but they're gonna explain
Like a Dragon.
They have like 1 billion hours of runtime. They can explain the backstory too.
But also, like, even if you ignore the story in those games, it's just so much fun and it's so absurd. It like doesn't matter almost. I feel like. But I do realize that they also tell a compelling story. It's just,
I think
you can
to
have fun
understand
without
this one, you just have to play Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then you're like, ooh,
Mhm.
because
there's like a clean break.
It introduces the new protagonist and everything.
All right, moving on, keeping things brisk here. Best art direction, mostly the same games for Game of the Year. We got Astrobot, Black Myth, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor, ReFantazio, and Neva.
Does Metaphor get prettier? I mean, it's not an ugly game.
Metaphor, I don't think Metaphor should...
Oh,
It's a complicated discussion because Metaphor, I
It's
think...
so stylish, but it's not...
The style is good, but like the actual technical implementation of the graphics is so bad, it detracts from the art style. Which is a
I would
rare
say the same
case.
thing about Elden Ring.
It might be Neva, because I'm looking at screenshots. I haven't even heard of this.
Neva's
game.
gorgeous. Yeah.
I've heard of Neva, yeah.
Absolutely
It's
gorgeous looking.
I think it's Neva or Black Myth. Wukong, personally.
Yeah.
Oh, did we
Yeah,
did we read all the...
Yeah, I read them.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. It's
I
late.
don't know. I think people are like, oh, Black Myth Wukong's going to win. But you got to remember that Black Myth Wukong's sales numbers were so high because it's a Chinese game about Chinese mythology. And there's
It was a gorgeous game, though.
Yeah.
I will say that like this is the new Black Myth Wukong right now is the crisis of 2024. It's like show people this running on your high-end PC and it'll just melt their eyeballs off.
That's just not what I think of when I think art direction, though. I think of creativity, not technical prowess.
I think it's part of art direction though.
It is
because
but does Black Myth Wukong have interesting art direction beyond just being?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think
I
it
haven't played
is.
it, so
It is pretty to look at, but when you phrase it like that, it doesn't have as interesting art direction as something like Elden Ring or Metaphor.
Yeah.
Right? Like
also-
those are stylized in a much more interesting way.
I don't think it penetrated as much into Western audiences as we all think it did.
Yeah, I don't know.
But because it did post some nutty sales numbers, but I also have to append that it was released in China.
Let's do some
Yeah, I mean-
elimination. I don't
Yeah.
think Astrobot wins this. I don't think Metaphor wins this.
I don't think Metaphor wins it.
I
And
think
it
I
wa-
agree with that. Yeah.
Shadow of the Erdtree, while being visually stunning, it
runs
is
so
just
bad.
more Elden Ring, and
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring is absolutely carried by its art direction.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny for the picture here. They have that picture of
Yeah.
the shadow tree, and it just
It
like,
is
look
gorgeous.
at that, man.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No, and I have to think of when I first encountered the bluegrass area, the
Oh my gosh,
Cerulean
yeah.
Coast.
Stunning.
I just changed my vote.
It
It's
took your
Elden
breath
Ring.
away.
It's Shadow of the Erdtree.
It probably
Yeah.
is Elden
it's
Ring,
gonna
yeah.
be Elden Ring again. Unfortunately, as much as I want to hope that it's not Elden Ring, it's gonna be Elden Ring.
Well, honestly, for this category, nominating Shadow of the Erdtree does make sense because the art
The art's all
direction
new.
the art's all new,
See,
and plus
this
I
is
feel like the
one
art
where I can
direction
accept it.
in Shadow of the Erdtree was just another level.
It was
beyond
way better than
Elden
original
Ring.
Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
there was
just,
just beauty. The giant Castlevania castle.
Yeah.
The when you see green for the you've been in this DLC for 40 hours and you suddenly are in a lush green area, it like seared my eyes.
And plus, let's not forget the oh gosh, what was like the madness area, the abyssal forest?
Oh my god, the orange everywhere.
Yeah. So I think this is a masterstroke of
Yeah, I agree.
of art design. So I think I'm voting for
They picked
Elden
a
Ring,
very
Shadow of the
stunning
Erdtree.
screenshot to represent this.
not
And-
guiding your vote at all here.
But it's also, I think, one of the least visually stunning
Yeah,
areas in
that's
the DLC.
true. It's an incredible. The art direction is just incredible in this game.
Yeah.
All right, well, against my better judgment, there you go.
Yeah.
Best score and music. Oh
is gonna be
man, do
Final
I have some
Fantasy.
stuff to say here? Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Reinvent, Ezio, Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade. This is Stellar Blade.
Really?
The soundtrack to Stellar Blade is
played Stellar
so... Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't finish it, but the soundtrack was incredible. I am telling you guys.
You like Astrobot's music, though.
Astrobot's great, too. You're trying to insult me. Okay.
Yeah, no, and I've not even played it. I just know the music from that one trailer I didn't like.
Okay, yeah. But no, Stellar Blade, like, it had, like, all these Korean songs made for it, you know, like, with actual artists singing and stuff.
That gets my vote, then. I'm a sucker for that.
I mean, the soundtrack to Stellar Blade goes so hard. I can't stress that enough. And this is coming from someone who thought, like, Metaphor's soundtrack is incredible. I love that soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I would still put Stellar Blade's soundtrack above that. That being said, Final Fantasy VII is probably going to win. But
yeah, Final Fantasy VII's my lean, just because everybody loves Final Fantasy music.
I'm going to lean towards, it's like iconic for a reason, right? Which it's also kind of cheating because it's, you know, it's taking the old iconic themes of Final Fantasy VII and modernizing them.
Have One-Winged Angel, right?
You know,
yeah.
Whereas like Metaphor, Stellar Blade, Astrobot, these are brand new scores.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna lean towards Stellar Blade, and hopefully, I hope the committee does the same.
I'm gonna stay with Final Fantasy because I just think that's the safe. I didn't play any of these games, but I think that's the safe bet. Mike, did you play any of these games?
No, I haven't played any of these games.
Final Fantasy it is.
Final Fantasy it is.
Best audio design: Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. So I have to ask you here. In theory, without having played it, I feel like Senua's Saga should win this because that's what it does, right?
Yeah,
that's like its whole shtick.
It was all it did. yeah, it was
okay.
It had really pretty graphics and incredible audio. Counterpoint though, Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I was gonna say really good as well.
It also has like, did you look in the settings in it? I don't know if it has this on console, but it has like a million different mixes of audio, some of which you have to buy as DLC.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Who would do that?
Yeah, and
people who want
it sounds really good. I think Senua's Saga wins this because it's what it does. It's the only game on this list that says we recommend you wear headphones, and it's the only like Call of Duty's is really good, but it isn't a design point. I think in like the core game design, you could take away how good the audio is in Black Ops 6, and it's still just a really fun game. If you take the audio design away from Senua's Saga, then it's still not a very good game at all.
Yeah. No, I go with Senua's Saga here, and coming from someone who hasn't played a Hellblade game, I just know that the audio design in these games is...
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Senua's.
Okay. Best performance. I apologize if I mess up any of these names. Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I imagine that's...
Aerith?
Oh, Aerith, yeah. I was like, who's the other girl? Man,
that girl
people are going to be so mad.
Nobody forgets Tifa.
Yeah, how could I? Hannah Tell, who is Max in Life is Strange. Humberly Gonzalez, who I assume plays the protagonist in Star Wars Outlaw.
Yeah.
Luke Roberts in Silent Hill 2. Melina Juergens, Senua's Saga.
Probably... If this is who plays Senua,
so, right?
Melina Juergens, it's really good. It's really good.
I just want to comment on the one game I have played, like Life is Strange Double Exposure. Obviously, she does a great performance as Max, but like Max as a character isn't a character with that much range, right? Like if you remember Life is Strange 1, she just kind of talks in this monotone voice, which is fine, right? That's just like kind of Max's personality.
Ashley Birch is the
she's Chloe.
Yeah,
so
she's the star of the show.
Yeah, her acting's great. But Hannah Tell, I mean, she plays that character great. It's just I don't think that character lends herself to showing off your acting skills too much.
Right.
So, and I haven't played any of the other games. So, Aerith could win, right?
I could see it being Luke Roberts. I could see it being Brianna White. I really think it's going to be Melina Juergens.
Okay. I kind of agree with you there. Like that's again, right? it's a mediocre game that nails some very specific things, including like performance and audio design.
Right. The problem with Senua Saga is the gameplay. If you remove the gameplay 100% and it's just like a really cool animated movie that you have to wear headphones for, it's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're all in agreement there, right?
Yeah. Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Innovation and accessibility. Boy.
I never know what to
I
say
feel
for this
bad because I don't know what the features are.
I don't.
But the nominees are Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Star Wars Outlaws. I don't feel good making a guess here because I really just don't know anything. So
my gut tells me Diablo 4 probably didn't have to do that much because you can play it with one hand anyway. So probably not that, but other than that, all these other games had to have bespoke accessibility. And I don't even know if Diablo 4 might have. I really don't know. I didn't play a lot of these games. And two, I usually don't even look at accessibility features. I'm not somebody who utilizes them. So
yeah, so
kind of a skip for me.
I think the respectful thing was to just not weigh in here.
Yeah.
I'll weigh in and say that I'm glad this category exists. That's all I have to say. Yeah. Not a medium that embraces accessibility super well a lot of the time. So
games for impact. So the nominees are Indica, Neva, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Senua Saga, Hellblade 2, Tales of Kanzara Zao, Closer the Distance. So I know some of these games. The others, some of them I don't. I think this one will be Tales of Kanzara Zao, just because I know like this game really brought forth a lot of like African culture that isn't represented a lot in games.
They also love to pick one I've never heard of. So
yeah.
I agree. I don't think it's gonna be Senua Saga or Life is Strange.
I don't even know why Life is Strange is on this category. Like what impact did that game have other than having a horrible ending?
Other than ruining the franchise.
Other than ruining like the one part of the franchise I still like. And I'm not sure why Senua Saga's on here.
I disagree. Senua Saga addresses mental illness and stuff.
Okay.
I think it has a place here. I just think almost certainly these smaller games that aren't doing a mass market thing are going to have a more important message.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess Tales of Kanzara Zao, but with the caveat that I don't really know anything about Indica or Closer the Distance.
I have not played any of these games.
Yeah.
All right, next category is one we can weigh in on a little better.
Yeah.
Best ongoing game, Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 7-14, which I believe wins every year, right? Final Fantasy 7-14?
Yeah. It's just Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
14 and Helldivers 2, though. Helldivers 2 is
Helldivers 2 should not be on this list. Every update they've done to this game has made it worse.
It made it worse, right? Yeah. I kind of want to make a case here for Destiny 2.
Not ongoing anymore. It's over.
Well, it is still ongoing. It's just not as, they're cutting down. But the final shape was arguably the peak of all of Destiny, and it came right at the end. It's just a shame that, like, players were largely checked out at that point. Like, the sales weren't enough to really continue their existing business model. But I like, credit where credit's due. Final shape was insanely good.
I'll say it's probably not Fortnite because this has been in my opinion, we had one good chapter, but kind of a stinker year for Fortnite. They did OG Fortnite, which I found extremely boring. A lot of people liked it. Now they're doing a reboot of Chapter 2, I think, right now, which I don't.
Oh, okay.
Love.
Catering to very specific slices of people.
Yeah. I think they do that while they're prepping the new season or the new map or whatever. I think it's to give them more time, which yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pro that, but it is like. Oh, it's
because their update cadence is kind of...
It's unhinged, yeah.
Absolutely unhinged. Like, I don't know how they get away with not crunching. They're probably crunching right now.
Yeah, but there's been kind of a string of updates that don't hit for me, and I don't think hit for a lot of the community. So I don't think it's going to be
we can eliminate Fortnite. And Final Fantasy 14 just always is the best in this category, so it probably will win. But Destiny 2, a real contender, and I would argue Diablo 4, a real contender with the expansion, Vessel of Hatred that came out.
I agree.
Seems really, really good. I haven't played it yet, but I think it absolutely catapults it to a place where it can be seriously talked about here.
I think all three of those are contenders, but I think it's going to be Final Fantasy 14 just because it always is.
It's going to be Final Fantasy 14.
I'm gonna lean towards Diablo 4, just to be different.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're probably right. Okay. Best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 7, or keep saying Final Fantasy 7 by it, just like it rolls off the tongue. Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, No Man's Sky.
Not Helldivers 2.
No Man's Sky? Is it No Man's Sky?
I think it's Baldur's Gate. Yeah, Baldur's Gate's community is nutty. Still keeping that game going.
Yeah, I lean Baldur's
There's
Gate.
mods.
All right,
They just put mods on console.
Yeah, I think it's Baldur's Gate. I think, it just, it makes sense. Okay.
The devs just feed into the community.
Yeah.
They do. This next one's spicy.
It's tough.
Best independent game: Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50.
These are good
I've
games.
heard great things about Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Me too. I want to play it so bad. It just hasn't. UFO 50 is incredible.
I have seen a lot of UFO 50. I've seen
UFO
Dan
50 's
Giesling
really fun.
and Northern Line play it, and it looks great. I want to play it one of these days.
It's not a game that there's a ticking time bomb for you to play it. It's going to be just as good next year as it is now, unlike some of these other things. Like Animal Well, I think is still really fun right now, but it'll never be like it was that first day when
launch, figuring it out. Yeah, Animal Well is a special game. It's one of the best games this year, which is why it's just crazy to say that I think Balatro absolutely clears it.
Really?
I really think Balatro is just that good.
I think they're
I don't know, man.
It's between those two, right? For sure for me, because I didn't play Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I think Animal Well beats Balatro for me, but Balatro didn't stick for me like it did for a lot of people. I never cleared a gold stake. I
pretty much absolutely.
I cleared the first difficulty on everything and then didn't really do past that. Whereas with Animal Well, I got very deep.
That's fair. I will say for me though, Balatro turned into one of those games that I lost sleep over. I was up playing Balatro when I should be sleeping or doing something else, and that's the highest compliment I can give.
It's also a game it's slotted very cleanly into when I don't have another game to play. Balatro is a super easy launch and play around a Balatro. The only problem is I haven't had any of that time this year.
That's true, and I also want to point out, Animal Well, you play it once and you're basically done, right?
Yeah, well, but that sorta.
The experience will never be the same.
Right, but
which is fair for a lot of video games.
So much of it to get to that point. You would have to actually... I think it's only fair to say that if you solved every mystery.
That's fair.
And that's going to take you a long time.
You can solve every mystery.
Yeah.
With Balatro, it's one of those evergreen games,
you can play
right? It's on the same level as something like Tetris or Minesweeper. It's a game that you can come back to, play, and it still feel fresh every time.
It's absolutely going to be our generation solitaire.
It is.
Yeah.
It straight up is. Yeah, it's just what Balatro did was just incredible. So my vote is for Balatro, and I think people will also vote for Balatro, even though I think this is a very tough category this year. And let's just say, UFO 50 as well. Any other year, this would automatically win. UFO 50 would automatically win.
I don't know. I think there's a game that came out.
Insanely strong indies.
I can think of an indie game that came out this year that's not on this list that beats UFO 50 for me.
Which one?
Tactical Breach Wizards.
Oh yeah, that was a great game.
I love that game. I'm a little sad to not see any representation of it here. I am, for me, it's Animal Well. Well, best independent game. Clarifying what independent even means. Satisfactory should be in here. But on this list, Animal Well, I think, is going to win, and it's what I would pick from this list.
It's tough, right? Because both Animal Well, Balatro, single creators, both singular visions.
Yeah,
it's really a battle of titans here.
Yeah, and this is so much more interesting than Game of the Year to me.
Yeah, they both deserve all their flowers. It's going to be kind of heartbreaking, I think, for whoever loses, because they both made Game of the Year tier games.
Yeah.
But there can only be one winner, and I think it'll be Balatro. But Connor, you're leaning Animal Well.
I'm leaning Animal Well. Mike,
what do you think?
I think it's going to be Balatro. It's all I've heard people talk about every time.
Interesting. Well,
yeah.
What day is the Game Awards this year? Do we know?
It is Thursday, December
12th. It's
literally
my birthday.
Oh,
nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting drunk for it.
Nice.
Catch me over on my Twitch. I'll be drunk watching it.
Oh, we're about to relitigate the same battle. Best debut indie game: Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, Plucky Squire.
Yeah, I was
Get
gonna say
that
the
outta
Plucky
here.
Squire shouldn't be on here.
No way. Okay, so this is between Animal Well and Balatro again, and I think
It's gonna be
whoever
whichever
wins,
the last one was. Yeah.
Whoever wins. Well, I actually was gonna say I think whoever wins best indie game, the other one will win best debut, because that way. But also, like, if there's no way to control that, though. I mean, people cast their votes, so.
Well, again, it's if the critics are all sitting in a room deciding, they might do that, but I don't think they will. I think Animal Well is going to win both of these.
They don't actually confer with each other, right? Like
really?
It's like a mail-in thing, I think.
What if they split the vote in a stupid way and the Lucky Squire or the Plucky Squire wins?
Yeah.
No, it's going to be Animal Well.
I don't get it. Some people really like the Plucky Squire. I did not.
I don't think critics liked it very much.
Best debut indie game has to be either Balatro or Animal Well. I'm going to lean Balatro again.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Best mobile game, AFK Journey, Balatro.
Zero. It's all my
Zenless
friends are playing,
and Wuthering Waves.
And Pokemon Trading Card game.
MiHoYo games.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my friends have been playing, even during Extra Life. Well, they weren't on stream. They were just playing either the Pokemon Trading Card game or Zenless Zone Zero.
I could see Zenless Zone Zero winning this just because like people go. I think people go crazy for the MiHoYo games.
They do, but I think this is Balatro because of the critics. I don't think critics they don't care at all about Zenless Zone Zero. I've heard good things about it.
That's because the critics aren't gooners like the rest of us.
That's
like,
true.
quite literally, that's the only reason.
That's not. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw out a guess here for Zenless Zone Zero, but I could easily see Balatro also.
I'm voting Balatro on this one, and I think there's a reasonable. It would be crazy if Balatro wins Game of the Year, Best Indie Game, Best Debut Indie Game, and Best
just
Mobile
sweeps
game.
everything.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's a world I'm here for, honestly. If it does, I'm like good for Balatro. I'm not gonna be mad about that.
Mike, if that happens, that's a finish your drink.
Yeah. If my predictions are wrong,
So you're going Zenless Zone Zero, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going Zenless Zone Zero.
All right. Best AR VR game is up next.
Oh wow.
This is Arizona.
You probably have some insight on this.
I have a little. Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, Metro Awakening. The only one of these games, I don't really think Arizona Sunshine Remake should be on here, and I don't think Metal Hellsinger VR can stand up.
It's got to be Asgard's Wrath 2, right? Like that game got so many.
So did Batman Arkham Shadow. People really, really like Batman. It's really popular. And Metro Awakening is also supposed to be. I've heard that it's a Half-Life Alyx tier game. And if that is true, then the answer is Metro Awakening. I haven't played it yet because I've been very busy. Asgard's Wrath 2 actually, for me, would lose this to Metro Awakening or Batman. Asgard's Wrath just kind of has that clunky kitchen sink RPG vibe that I'm not really into. It's a good game, but it's too much. It's not very focused, I think. And Batman isn't. Batman is straight up just a Batman Arkham game where you play as Batman.
Yeah, I think I'll lean towards Batman just because I know, one, it's a great game, and two, it's Batman. Everyone loves Batman, so I'm gonna guess Batman.
I'm gonna guess Batman.
I have not played any of these games.
The only one I've played is Asgard's Wrath.
Was the Batman one a Quest 2 exclusive?
It was a Quest 3 exclusive.
Quest 3. I forgot we're on Quest 3.
Yeah.
I don't think that one's gonna be. I don't think a lot of people played it.
Not a lot of people played any of these, bud. Bad news.
I mean, a Quest 3 is way more inaccessible now.
Well, Quest 3S is $300.
Yeah.
And it comes with Batman. So
does it? Oh man, I might just buy a Quest 3.
Quest 3S.
I'm sold.
Yeah, which is different and not quite as good as the Quest 3. So we're clear. I want to play Batman. I want to play Metro. I have not finished it, Asgard's Wrath, so I'm going to go Batman, I think.
Yeah, I'm with Batman.
I would say Batman, just IP-wise.
Best action game. I think this is kind of interesting. Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 2. These are all very...
Space Marine 2 took the
Can I say something brave and controversial?
Say it, because I think I'm going to agree with you.
It's Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Oh, really? I was going to say, I think this is Helldivers 2.
I think it's Call of Duty.
I was going to say it might have been the Warhammer game.
Oh, so we all say different things.
Yeah.
I think, okay, so let me just make my argument really quick. When Helldivers 2 launched, and it was at the height of its popularity, and you were running around a planet with your friends, getting savaged by these insects
that is
trying
probably,
to escape a planet.
That's probably
no
the most
other
fun I've
game
had this year.
captures that feeling. So just taking that into account, like, and Helldivers 2 felt like an actual war zone.
It did.
Right? Like, you play Call of Duty, and yeah, you're playing these big team deathmatch matches, but they're just, and they're fun. They don't feel like a war zone. Helldivers 2 felt like you were going to...
Yeah.
You were going to be part of the ground soon playing that game.
Helldivers 2 just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth, though, because of its post-launch support and how bad
that's not what's being evaluated here, right? Like, best action game.
You're right.
Not best ongoing.
Critics won't care about crashes and stuff. So yeah, you're probably right. It's between Call of Duty and Helldivers, in my opinion.
But okay. Also, to play devil's advocate, these are completely different games.
Yeah.
But Black Myth and Stellar Blade, fantastic, like melee combat action adventure games. The combat in Black Myth Wukong was one of its strongest suits, and the same with Stellar Blade. Combat was really, really good in both of these games. So
yeah,
it depends on how you're evaluating, I guess, the action game category, because I think there's two different skews people could lean towards. One is like the actual like melee action game, and two is like action spectacle.
And we're about to see some even worse categorization. I want to read the next category without telling you guys what the category is.
Okay,
so if let's scroll down.
So I'm going to predict Helldivers 2.
Yeah,
that's my prediction for this one.
You coerced me. I'm saying Helldivers 2 as well.
Yeah, I think Helldivers 2 will probably go through it with it, but I think the Space Marine game was also really good.
Yeah, these are all really good games on this list.
So if you guys haven't scrolled down yet, don't yet. And I'm going to read this next set of games off. It is Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, all fighting in the same category for Best Action Adventure Game.
What do these games have in common?
Nothing.
Apparently that.
Nothing. Silent Hill 2? What are you talking about?
This is such a bad category. Jeff, what are you doing?
I have no idea what to pick for this. Like,
I'm going to pick Astrobot just because I think it's the best game on this list.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Astrobot 2 because Echoes of Wisdom is good, but it's a good 7.5 out of 10 that is held constant, and I feel like Astrobot is more like a 9.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. So, I think even though this category makes no sense when you're looking at the list of
Silent Hill
games,
2 and Zelda? What are you doing, Jeff?
Oh, Jeff. All right, I vote for Astrobot. I think people will vote for Astrobot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think Astrobot. I think this category is meaningless.
Yeah. Best RPG.
This one's kind of interesting, though. Best RPG, Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor ReFantazio. This discussion would be so much more interesting without Elden Ring on here.
Really? I would not pick Elden Ring because I don't think, especially in the DLC, the RPG
I would not pick it either. I would not pick it either, but like people might pick it. That's the problem.
People might. I don't think critics will. I think critics will lean Like a Dragon or Metaphor.
Really? You don't think they'll lean Final Fantasy VII?
Dragon's Dogma 2 is really good too. I don't know. This is so
Dragon's Dogma 2 was really good, but I don't think it has a shot to win on this list. Because like there was this sentiment that it was basically Dragon's Dogma 1.5, and I think that'll weigh it down, even though it was a really fun game. I think this is between Metaphor, Like a Dragon, Final Fantasy VII, and I hope Elden Ring's not going to be considered here.
I want this to be a Metaphor. It's such an RPG's RPG. The fantasy, the character interactions, all of it. It's such an RPG. It is exactly like if I ordered an RPG and you handed me that, I will delish. That's exactly what it hits the spot.
Yeah.
It's what the doctor ordered.
So I'm going to lean towards Metaphor here, but realistically, I think there's a very high chance Final Fantasy VII can win this.
I agree.
Unfortunately,
I don't see Like a Dragon winning, even though I think it should for sure be a strong contender.
Yeah,
I just don't think they have the stranglehold on the critical audience.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
I just looked.
Best
ahead.
fighting game: Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Final Fantasy versus Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, Multiversus, Tekken 8. All right. I mean, I say it has to be Sparking Zero, but Sparking Zero isn't a true fighting game like every other game on this list besides Multiverses, I guess. Multiverses is kind of a Smash clone.
Multiverses shouldn't be on this list.
Yeah. Sparking Zero. It has depth, but not as much as a traditional fighter. I think
it's between Tekken and Sparking Zero, in my opinion.
Really, I thought Marvel vs. Capcom was probably going to win this. Honestly,
it's a collection. I would hate to see it win. I would hate to see a collection game win this.
Yeah, I mean, in my heart, like, there's no question.
It's
Sparking Zero. Sparking Zero might be the game of the year too. Like,
yeah,
I'm just gonna say that.
That's true.
But I think critic wise, like, it is kind of disqualified as a fighting game. It's
It's on this list. It's sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, but I don't think people will vote for an arena fighter to win best fighting game. I just don't think that could happen.
I actually think the audience is going to show up for Dragon Ball. I don't know if the critics will go for it. People like Tekken 8, but a lot more people played Dragon Ball Sparking Zero than played Tekken 8, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Tekken 8 is probably the best like fighter game this year, but Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is really,
I'm gonna,
really good.
You know what? My prediction is Sparking Zero. I think the critics show up. I think the fans show up for this game.
Yeah, I
definitions.
Sparking Zero is going
to
go even further beyond. Win game of the
Sparking
year.
Zero.
That it wasn't even a nomination.
It wasn't even nominated. It wins. All right,
Mike.
I think it's going to be Sparking Zero. I
think
Dragon Ball is just going to win out. Is there even a question?
Yeah, some things transcend mediums, constraints, etc. Dragon Ball is one of them. So.
Absolutely.
All right,
and then
best
we'll finally
family
get
game.
Goku and Smash.
Yeah, and then the timeline will be healed. Best family games: Astro Bot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, The Plucky Squire.
It's between two games for me.
Family game, like, I guess it's Astro Bot just because it's like the best game on this list, but
Super Mario Party Jamboree
that could win. Yeah.
It's not going to be Princess Peach. It's not going to be the Plucky Squire. I'll say that bravely. I doubt it's Echoes of Wisdom. Echoes of Wisdom is good, but it's just not win an award good. It's just not.
I mean, I think it's going to be Astrobot.
Really?
Personally. Yeah.
I'd like for it to be Astrobot, but Mario Party
I would actually
looks
like
really
for
good.
it to be Mario Party Jamboree because I think that's a more appropriate that fits in the category family game way more to me. Because that is literally a game I basically only play with my family. So,
yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be Mario Party.
I'm going Mario Party. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going Astrobot.
It's a family game.
Oh man, here we go. So, best sim strategy game.
Best strategy.
Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kunitsugami, Paper Goddess, Manor Lords, Unicorn Overlord.
So I've really only played Manor Lords.
My gut says this is Frostpunk or Manor Lords.
It's either
Frostpunk
or
1.
Manor Lords.
I played Frostpunk 1 and it was so good.
I loved Frostpunk 1. I just haven't gotten around to playing Frostpunk.
I hear Frostpunk 2 is fantastic. I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna throw out a shot in the dark. Frostpunk.
Getting in a relationship's the worst thing for playing video games. I'm not gonna lie.
Getting a job's not great either.
Yeah, it's. I'm like, I have a job and a relationship, and I just don't have time to play video games.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't be caught dead.
Terrible life decisions.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Frostpunk 2, even though I didn't play any of these.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
You too, Mike?
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be Frostpunk.
Okay.
Best sports racing game: F1 24, EA Sports FC 25. Weird that sports and racing are together, but whatever. NBA 2K 25, Top Spin 2K 25, WWE 2K 24. It's got to be EA Sports FC 25.
No. Didn't that huge return to form sports game come out this year?
Yeah, that's EA Sports FC 25.
No, it was.
It's not. CFB 25 is not up for anything.
Oh, that's not college football.
That's not
Shows
college
what I know.
football. That's like soccer.
Oh, that's soccer. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking
Wild
about. How is that not nominated, dude?
Yeah,
that's
dude,
crazy.
that should be the winner, obviously.
That's. I mean, I guess it just goes to show I'm so out of touch with this genre in general. So maybe there was some issue. Maybe there's a reason why it's not on here.
My guess is going to be F1 wins because I hear people piss and moan about all the
I
other
also
ones.
agree. I think F1 will win, and I just hear that F1 24 is a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
So that's my pick.
What about you, Mike?
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be F1.
Okay.
It's either that
next
or
one's
FC 25. I mean, FC 25 has a massive audience.
Mm-hmm.
This next one's hard.
Okay. This next one's hard. Best multiplayer: Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
It's got to be Helldivers, right?
I think it. Yeah, I think it's either Helldivers. Call of Duty was seen as this return to form, but multiplayer wise, it's not fresh like Helldivers was.
I wasn't
like the drop-in nature of Helldivers was really. I think it added a lot to the enjoyment of the game.
You didn't catch me joining a Discord and playing Call of Duty with strangers. You didn't catch me looking forward to playing Call of Duty after work or anything. It's just a fun game to turn on. Helldivers 2 was like that was what our March was, right? Was it March?
I mean, the presentation adds so much, right? Like, because Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, you join a match, you just spawn in, and you like start running around. Helldivers 2, you make planetfall in your pod.
Yeah.
You drop down. It's so cool. Like I don't know. It really shines as a multiplayer game. So I'm gonna vote for Helldivers 2.
I also don't feel any urge at all to coordinate with my team in Black Ops 6, and in Helldivers 2, unless you're like a god, you kind of need to be coordinating with your team to survive at the higher difficulties.
Plus, just the frantic nature of like, just drop everything, we got to get out of here or toast.
Yeah,
you know that, and that's very real in Helldivers 2. Like, if you don't tactically choose and coordinate when to retreat at the right time, you're just finished. And that's a really unique multiplayer experience, especially like considering the games on this list. Because Mario Party Jamboree, it's super fun. It's Mario Party. It adds some novel new modes, which it absolutely should be on this list. Heck, it might win, but I don't think people will go for it. Yeah. Tekken 8, obviously, really good fighting game. And Warhammer 40K, I believe it was also a co-op multiplayer game, right? But I think out of this, Helldivers 2 wins. Are we in agreement?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, we might as well just skip this next category. We all know what it's going to be. Most anticipated game. Nominees are Death Stranding 2.
First of all, how dare you?
I mean, we know what's going to win. Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, which again, that name is so funny. Kojima, man.
I hate it.
Ghost of Yote, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds.
I think there are like 3 groups of people for this. There's a group of people that really, really, really wants to play Death Stranding 2. There's a group of people that really, really, really wants to play Monster Hunter Wilds. And there's a group of people that only plays 1 or 2 games a year. And they're all voting for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will win this. I don't think any other year.
I don't know, the critics.
I think the critics will pick Grand Theft Auto 6, dude. Like,
really?
If you look at the Metacritic scores for GTA games, they're all like some of the most highest rated games of all time.
Rockstar just doesn't make that good at games. It's crazy. It's also probably like, I don't know. I want Monster Hunter to win so bad. Monster Hunter's not going to win this. It is.
I think any other year would win this. Like, if GTA 6 wasn't releasing this year, it would absolutely win this.
What's yours on this list? Is it Death Stranding or Monster Hunter?
My actual most anticipated game? Probably Death Stranding 2, honestly.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah. But like, it's not like I'm frothing at the mouth for any of these games like I was for Elden Ring. Remember, like there was a good like 3 or 4 year run where Elden Ring was like the most anticipated game every year.
I'm frothing at the mouth for Monster Hunter Wilds. I mean, you remember, you were there the first time I saw the Monster Hunter World trailer.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
I pogged out of my mind. I was shouting in your living room.
Yeah. So, honestly, I think Monster Hunter Wilds has a good chance just by virtue of proximity. Like, people know it's coming and it's coming close.
Yeah.
That's the only way it might have an edge over GTA 6, but I think GTA 6 will win this.
Monster Hunter Wilds also just has... I can't explain it. This also might be a media bias, but like all the YouTubers I watch, like all of them have to cover the new Monster Hunter for a while when it comes out in ways that they don't other games. Like they don't cover every major release that comes out. They have to jump in for Monster Hunter.
I hear you, but like when GTA 6 launches, like the entire planet's going to be playing it, you know?
The entire planet that's on console.
I mean, people will buy consoles for GTA 6.
Yeah.
In mass, I'm telling you. That will happen.
And then they'll all complain about it being mid 6 months later.
Well, they won't. We might, but they won't.
I hear people complain about GTA 5 all the time now. Like how the online
people are still buying it though. It's still on the charts.
That's true.
Okay. So moving on. I don't know any of these people here for Content Creator of the Year, but I'll list them. Queso,
Yeah.
I'm probably mispronouncing them too. Ilo Juan, Techno Gamers, Typical Gamer, Usada Pecora. Do any of you know any of these people?
Never heard of any of them.
Never
and I have a hot
heard of them.
take. They should get rid of this category because the streamer awards exist now.
Yeah, there's another award for it.
The streamer awards are like way more interesting and able to give way more attention to this stuff. I don't think this belongs at the Game Awards anymore. I think it did until the streamer awards existed. But now that streaming is a separate industry, and now that exists, I think that is a more interesting place to have this conversation. I don't think the Game Awards should
I think you're right.
it.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Best esports game: Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang. What is that?
That's like a
Valorant.
I go Valorant.
Any thoughts here, guys?
I go Valorant. I like it more than any of these other games.
Yeah.
Did any of these games have like a standout?
It's gonna
year?
probably be League of Legends because there was like I ended up watching Worlds this year by accident.
A lot of people did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Worlds was very exciting. I'll vote for League of Legends. Sure, let's just.
It's literally whatever recent tournament there was. Mobile Legends Bang Bang is more popular in Southeast Asia because it's a mobile MOBA.
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
Yeah,
I see.
It's like League but mobile.
I could see the.
Where's Sparking
I
Zero?
could see why that
would
would catch on. The esports, right? All right. Best esports athlete.
It's gotta be Faker.
33, Alex Sib, Chovy, Faker, Zaiwu.
It's always Faker, isn't it?
It's just Faker. Faker.
Yeah, it's always Faker. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Best esports team. Billy, Genji, Navi, T1, Team Liquid.
It's T1,
So,
right?
That's Faker's
Probably
team.
T1.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh wait, the first one is best esports team.
Oh yeah, the first nominee is best esports
team's
team.
gonna win best esports.
All right,
team.
best esports. Yeah, let's just say that best esports team will win.
Sure,
Best
that
esports
makes
team.
sense.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay, so we've moved through all the categories. The whole Elden Ring thing made this a little more spicy of a year than normal. I do see a world where Elden Ring just sweeps everything again and everyone's mad at Jeff.
Yeah.
But I hope that doesn't happen because I think that's a less interesting world to live in.
I'm okay with it winning Game of the Year. I've kind of made my peace with it. If it wins, and art direction, if it wins anything else, I'm going to be a little sad, I think.
I don't think I would be okay with it winning Game of the Year. Because I think that just sets such a bad precedent.
I think you just have to make your peace with that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm excited to like watch this with you guys. Maybe we can like even do kind of like a live.
I don't know if I want to like go
coverage
thing. Yeah, we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But before we move on to what we're playing, I think we should also make a few predictions. Obviously, Game Awards are major announcements hub too. We'll get some announcements for games coming out in 2025 and later years. Any kind of crazy predictions for what we might see?
Not crazy, but there will be a Monster Hunter trailer.
There'll be a Monster Hunter trailer. Do we think? Surely there won't be a GTA 6 trailer. I imagine that's
why wouldn't there be?
Because Rockstar probably thinks they're too good for that.
You think
for Jeff Keighley show? Yeah, they always have their own.
We're gonna get a Death Stranding 2 trailer. I bet another one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with Kojima and Jeff Keighley's loving relationship, I'm sure we'll get a Death Stranding 2 trailer. Especially with it launching this year.
Switch to
we'll probably get
a no, there's no way.
No way. Ghost of Yote trailer, but like these are all known quantities, right? Like I could see a world where we get some crazy announcements. Where
how do you predict that though?
I mean, that's the fun, right? We're just gonna predict and see
Spider-Man.
If we see anything.
New Spider-Man.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Insomniac was very silent this year, which means they probably have something ready to go next year, considering their velocity.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's time for a new Naughty Dog game as well. So I think we're eventually going to get a trailer for Naughty Dog's new IP. I don't know if that's going to happen here. I don't know if it's launching in 2025, but the time is now getting hot for that, which is very exciting to me.
Did Tears of the Kingdom get revealed at the Game Awards?
I think it was.
I think it might have.
So Nintendo's on the. We'll probably get a Metroid Prime trailer then.
Well, no, yeah, it might have been direct. Mike.
No, I think it was at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't revealed at the Game Awards. I think we got a trailer at the Game Awards.
Yes.
It was revealed in a direct. Right. Yeah.
But I also want to say, like, I think 2025 will be an insane year. I think it'll be a 2023 repeat year where there's just a deluge of really excellent AAA games.
I'm not going to get to play any of them.
In 2024, we got really good. I mean, we got a lot of really good games across the board. We got really good indie games. We got good AAA games. But I think 2025 will be another one of those like crazy years.
Yeah.
And I think we have the potential to see a lot from Sony because I think a lot of their first parties are ready to show something now. And they said, remember, at the beginning of this year that, hey, we have nothing to show this year. Right? So I think they'll have things to show next year. And we already know of 2 major games, right? Death Stranding and Ghost of Yotei. So
is Death Stranding a PlayStation game?
It is. I think it's going to launch as a PlayStation exclusive because I know Death Stranding came to Xbox very recently.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I think there was like a 5-year exclusivity.
But it was on
window.
PC for a long time.
It was on PC for a long time, but it just now came to Xbox.
Okay.
But I think it'll be a PlayStation launch exclusive.
You think it'll be on PC as well?
I think it'll be PlayStation only at launch.
Okay. And I don't know why I'm even talking. I don't care.
You don't care. but
I hate to see PlayStation players get anything.
Yeah. So I could see some PlayStation announcements happening at this show. I think Nintendo will stay largely quiet because I don't think they're going to say anything until it's finally time to reveal the Switch 2, which hasn't happened yet, by the way.
Ridiculous.
We've
November
had so
19th.
many shows. We've had so many shows predicting the Switch 2. We've had shows saying goodbye to the original Switch. All of that was for nothing. Switch is still around. Switch 2 still not announced.
I'm gonna have to make a reel, like a clip reel, a clip show of all the times we've thought the Nintendo Switch was on its way out.
Yeah, made us look like fools.
I'm gonna have
Nintendo.
like 80 examples of you saying where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's crazy.
Well, they got me in October. I was convinced. This year
you were convinced too. We're all just 100%. Wrong.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get a Fable trailer.
I was gonna say Xbox has some sauce to show as well. Fable is ready to go, and it's gonna be great. I'm very excited for Fable, and especially after acquiring Activision, I'm sure they have lots of games that are raring to go.
Toys with Bob's been cooking something. Maybe we might see that.
I think it might be still too early for them. Yeah, but I don't know. I think we'll get some exciting announcements at this show. Okay. So if we're done with predictions, I guess we can go into what we're playing. I'm just gonna go really quick because I really don't have anything. Still playing Metaphor. I'm basically doing the endgame content right now. I'm doing like the optional endgame bosses, all that. So I'm sure I'll beat it by next week, hopefully, and finally have my final thoughts on it. But what about you two?
I'll go next, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been playing Factorio Space Age still. I got to the next planet called Gleba.
So what's wrong with Gleba? You were complaining.
I don't want to say that I hate Gleba, to be clear. Now that I've like figured out the puzzle, it's just that the puzzle is so unclear at the beginning, and it is really, really hard. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do think compared to Vulcanus, which was relatively simple and fun, Gleba is so most items in Factorio obviously are good forever. On Gleba, everything can spoil. Like everything.
I can see how that'd be very annoying.
Yeah.
It's the whole like breakable items thing in Zelda again.
It's
in a way.
It's different because like they can spoil on the conveyor belt on their way to get somewhere. They can spoil inside the machine mid-craft. They can spoil and everywhere this can happen, you have to take whatever the resulting spoil is. Usually it's an item called spoilage, and you have to void that item somehow, either by crafting it into something else useful, or you can burn it in a heat tower to produce electricity. And that's how you get power on Gleba, which alone, that took me a while to find out. It was unclear, because I was thinking I would just use nuclear power, but I couldn't find a way to get uranium. You also, the way you get iron and copper on this planet is by growing crops. And you have to grow the crops and then harvest the crops. And then I was really confused for a long time because I was converting the crops to iron at the highest rate I possibly could, like the best I could figure out. And it was giving me 0.3 per second. And I needed something like 40 per second to build the thing that I wanted to build. I needed way more. I figured it out since then, but it's just very unintuitive. It's really, tricky to figure out. The science tree does kind of guide you, but it's just kind of obtuse. It's really hard to figure out what you're even looking for when you first get on this planet. I've been on this planet for over 10 hours now, by the way, and I've not built anything that I would consider of value. I've figured out a few loops that could theoretically run forever. But another problem, there are certain things you have to craft that require eggs from the monsters on this planet. Those eggs hatch when they don't spoil. They hatch eventually and become an enemy that will destroy your base or kill you or whatever. It'll hatch in your pocket if you're carrying it around and kill you.
Wow.
So you have to.
So it really feels like it's this insane difficulty spike that where the game just starts being mean to you.
Yeah, and like enemies can spawn wherever, and the enemies are super resistant to lasers, which are the easiest defense to build. And you don't want to use rockets because rockets can destroy your base. Defenses are just really hard on Gleba. I've died a bunch of times. And it's just a really difficult planet. It's the only one I've seen, like, somebody made a mod that just removes it. And it was that was like one of the earliest Space Age mods because people just don't like Gleba. And I get it. I'm not going to remove it because now that I see the challenge, I think I've collected all the pieces now. I could solve Gleba. But it is still so hard that I'm like, I sit down and I think, do I want to play Factorio? And then if I'm at all tired from work or anything, I pick something else because that
sucks. It seems like a momentum killer.
It absolutely in that was. Game. Yeah. Because I was really excited for the next planet, Fulgora, but now it's like, am I even going to see it? Because this is, granted, you could do less than I'm doing. I'm kind of challenging myself to build a rocket to leave Gleba on Gleba, whereas you could, my buddy Ty, he just shipped in the parts and flies himself off of Gleba using parts from another planet. And that's always an option, but in my opinion, that would feel like leaving it unsolved. Because the actual science is not terribly difficult to get. The recipe is fairly simple.
So do you think Gleba is like a kind of a unique difficulty spike, or is this like the start of a trend for later planets?
I think this
just gets increasingly.
I watched some reviews. I think this is unique. I knew Gleba was going to be interesting going in. I knew that it was like, of the people that had played the DLC early, it was their least favorite. And it's one of those things, I respect Gleba now that I see all the moving pieces, but it was just real. I mean, you not only have to find seeds, but you have to find seeds. Then you have to find soil that the seeds can grow in. Sometimes you have to manufacture that soil, but in order to do that, you need a bunch of the seeds. So you have to find more of the seeds. And you have to kill, to make the basic workstation, you need an egg of that enemy. So, and I never fight the enemies. Like, that was just not clear to me at all, that I needed that egg at first. Just finding all the parts you needed took me a very long time to even see all the puzzle pieces in order to construct a solution. It's very tricky. And I think it's going to be my most complicated factory, because what I'm seeing is most of the time I have pretty consolidated, I like to separate everything out, and there are pretty consolidated assembly lines. But in this case, every single assembly line is going to be producing spoilage, potentially, that I have to get rid of. Every single assembly line is going to need an item called nutrients that I need to be producing. And it just gets complicated for that reason. There's going to be so much intertwining, and there's not a lot of land. Gleba is full of water, and like it's a swampy planet. So finding enough room to build all of this in a readable way is going to be a huge pain. And then producing power, and then producing defenses, and then I'm going to need a bunch of space to build a rocket. And then I guess from there it's kind of solved. But
yeah, the games like Factorio and Satisfactory, they walk a very fine line where it's like, yeah, it's problem solving, but it's also, the feedback is so good that it feels fun.
Yeah.
But it seems like Gleba might get the balance slightly wrong, to where it feels more strenuous.
Gleba's real problem, I think that's a little bit of it, but I think the biggest problem is that I constantly feel like there's a ticking timer. Because the items are spoiling in my inventory while I try to figure out what to do with them. And that's so frustrating. I think I should just let it all spoil, honestly, and then build using ghosts, like without that timer, build out, or with a blueprint, build out what my factory is going to look like, and then gather the resources. But you have to get the resources all at once in that case, because if the earliest resources you gathered spoiled before you were able to gather the later resources, then you're back at square one. It's really, putting a timer on it just feels very mean. And also, the science that you produce here can spoil. So even as you're flying the stuff that you made home, and not only does it spoil, but as the bar ticks down, it's worth a little less over time. So, and then I'm going to have to deal with it spoiling on the assembly line even once it gets home. So that's another thing that I have to deal with.
Wow.
I'm not going to mod it out. I still think it's an interesting challenge that I want to solve, but it is absolute. Also, all the other planets so far have like an item that is easy to get there, that I see value in, that I see like, oh, I'm going to want to scale up this factory later in order to produce more of this item. Everything is so hard to get on Gleba. I can't imagine ever wanting to scale up there, which may be intentional. They're like, no, you solved it. You don't have to come back. You get to leave forever now.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting. Yeah.
It's just,
I don't know. It's
a lot.
Kind of a wrench that they throw in the middle of the game.
Yeah. And you have to maximize your throughput. You don't want stuff sitting on belts for very long, or it's going to spoil on you.
It just takes that logistical and optimization challenge up several levels.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
It seems
definitely harder than Vulcanus, and I think harder than Fulgora is going to be. But just at any moment, a giant spider walks over and eats me. Like, even while I'm just trying to sit here and think, it's too much. There's at least you can get safe zones on the other planets, and you cannot seem to get that on.
Wow.
Gleba. So I've been turning it off and playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak some more. I love Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. It's a really good game. Everybody should check it out.
Do you want to go into it a little bit, or do you want to?
No, it's just more Monster Hunter. It's really nothing new, but it's really good. I'd kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit because we had so many good games come out. Now I'm back on the wagon. I did a whole new build. I'm really loving it.
Awesome. So what about you, Mike?
Oh boy. So Overwatch announced like a week ago, right, that they were releasing a limited time mode.
Yeah.
That brings the game back to the state that it launched in 8 years ago. And let me tell you, I have never been so excited to get hooked by Roadhog and one shot. It is just as the game launched. All the bugs are there. All the none of the characters that make me mad are there. I can play Genji and have fun and kill people with Nanoblade. I played it for like 3 hours on Tuesday.
Is it still available?
Yeah, I think it's available till like December 3rd. And honestly,
I might have to play a little
looking at their numbers, they're probably gonna keep this mode around for a while.
Yeah, because they've made it worse.
It's crazy, man. It's
everybody I played with is just happy. There's no toxicity. No one's being like rude or mean. We're just happy that Overwatch is good again.
There's so many games that have just gotten worse over time.
Yeah, like the game. I thought like, oh, my nostalgia for 1.0 is wrong. It was probably bad at release too, and I've just been lying to myself for 8 years. No, I wasn't lying. I wasn't a liar. I was right. The game was better when it came out. Oh my god.
So is this like a separate game download? Like is it actually Overwatch 1?
Overwatch 1. So, or in Overwatch 2. It's a limited time game mode. So feasibly, they could give us original Overwatch. They just refuse to.
Yeah.
So how does it? Do the graphics all revert back to like?
No,
how
it's
does
still
that?
The UI is the same, but they limit no character, no skins. So you go in, none of the skins you picked apply. So your base character, your vanilla character models, you're playing the game as it was when it came out. Purely, like you just bought the game in 2016, and it's there.
Because I loved that version of Overwatch. I only played it for a week or two, but I had so much fun playing it.
When I was playing, I don't know if they turned on limit one hero yet, but you could pick multiple of one hero. So you could have 3 Roadhogs and 3 Mercies, and it was fun. Everything, it's just it was as good as I remember, and I didn't expect that. I expected it to be like, oh, this is garbage. Overwatch was always bad. But
I wonder what
it wasn't.
Lessons Activision will take from this.
I don't think they're going to take anything. I think it's just people are nostalgic for old games. I'm not nostalgic. I just want a good game.
Yeah. It's just wild to me that they the best iteration of this was the first one they released, and it's been 8 years, and it's not been as good.
Revert the game back to the beginning and start over. I promise you, everyone will come back. They came back for this limited time mode. They'll come back if you undo 8 years of development time. I don't care if your lead game dev is really mad that you undid his favorite buff. Just do it. And then
I
bring
imagine
Diva
though,
back
like,
to where she is today, and we're fine because launch
I
Diva
imagine there's
is-
got to be some kind of hurt egos too, where people are like, oh, they definitely like the old version.
except for launch
Way
Diva.
better.
Whoever did the Diva tweaks between now and then and now, they were good. They're good. Launch Diva was garbage. Absolute bad. I tried playing her and it was I wanted to pull teeth. I just didn't like it.
Well, I hope Activision takes the right lessons from this.
They're gonna see their game numbers. They're gonna see the numbers right now, and they're probably going to.
I mean, Blizzard has WoW Classic exists, so
Yeah. Like Overwatch being a game as released is way better than Overwatch now. And I don't know how they managed to make a game worse over the course of 8 years. Normally you'd expect it to be the other way and the game to get better with iterative updates, but instead it's just worse.
I mean, I'm seeing it that even performance is getting like Helldivers 2 was like so shocking when I turned it on a couple weeks ago, and I crashed more often than I did at launch. And I crashed a lot at launch, and like PS5s are crashing now.
That's crazy.
And I don't remember PS5s crashing at launch.
Know what's going on, man. That's
well, I do.
Make
they
your games
chose a
better, not
janky
worse.
engine from like
make games.
a million years ago.
Try to make games better. Like, don't just throw games downward. And what killed Overwatch though, and what I noticed is that it became too sterile and samey because they were trying to balance it for an esports league that failed. And they keep trying to. They keep trying to balance it for
the top
1%.
1%.
That's a mistake. I've talked
Like
about that with Fortnite.
and-
that it's such a mistake.
And instead, I'm playing Overwatch as it was with no balance patches, and it's fun. I'm getting one shot by Roadhog, but it doesn't feel it's not oppressive because no one's really trying a meta right now. Everyone's just playing a game.
That's good to hear, man. I'll probably check it out before it goes away, and hopefully it doesn't go away. Hopefully they see the reception like, okay, it's here to stay. Because Lord knows they need some help with their Overwatch numbers.
They also should let people play the video game that they paid $60 for
Oh yeah, that too.
instead of the free game that they replaced it with.
Yeah.
All right. You said you had another game, Mike?
No, that was it. The cold open was
Yeah.
my other game.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it, right? You're good, Connor? You don't have anything else?
No, just Monster Hunter.
All right. Thank you all for listening. You can follow us at Podcast Game Talk on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Click the link in the description to join our Discord and talk to us there. And please like, rate, and review us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast services you use. Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Okay. I think you cut it here and then do our logo. And then we do our normal intro. Or not our logo, our song.
You kind
what
of
if I kept all of this in?
You know, kind
You
of
could.
fade it in at the end into the intro. And
That would
then,
be funny, yeah. Do it as a bit at the end.
Yeah.